I saw the ad in the Chronicle of Higher Education for the president of unnamed state college. We didn't even have a name in those days. You could see in your mind's eye easily what could happen here. There's no manual on how to start a college. You look around and you think, what do I do first? We attracted a remarkable group of charter faculty and charter staff who had a passion for the vision and the mission of GGC. And after that, I knew we were going to be fine. GGC is the way college ought to be. When people come out here, every one of them walks away going, I had no idea. We used to say nobody grew up wanting to go to Georgia Gwinnett College. Now they do, and they do.
Georgia Gwinnett College challenges the notion of what college can be.
We don't believe in maintaining the status quo, so we don't.
We're not tied to tradition. We focus on doing what works best.
GGC is a new, innovative model for higher education.
Here, professors don't just teach. They mentor, coach, advise, encourage.
They provide the personal experience today's students deserve.
And the students are actively engaged both inside and outside the classroom.
With real-life experiences and essential skills so you can take on the world as part of the global community.
All students are welcome here at GGC, and if you need a little help, we've even got tutors in the dining hall. Want more of a challenge? We got you covered there too.
GGC was built from the ground up to give each student every opportunity to succeed.
Failure is not an option.
We're not your typical college because we made college all about you.
Welcome to the future of higher education.
Well, good evening, and welcome to the 2016 Republican presidential debate. I'm CNN moderator Anderson Cooper. Welcome to the Georgia Gwinnett College 10th anniversary founders celebration. I'm Stosh Bercheski. That would have been interesting. I'm Stosh Bercheski, current president of GGC, and it's my distinct privilege to be your host for this evening's activities. As you know, GGC is a very special place, and we have planned a very special evening to recognize your many contributions and to share what you have made possible for our students. And we do mean you. This entire event is being held in your honor as an expression of our gratitude for everything you have done and are doing and will continue to do for Georgia Gwinnett College and, more importantly, for its students. GGC would not be where it is today if it weren't for you, our GGC family. And at this time, allow me please to recognize and welcome a few distinguished guests who are joining us this evening. Please hold your applause until they are all recognized. And if you would stand and remain standing as I call upon you, please do. Chancellor Hank Huckabee, Chancellor of the University System of Georgia, the numerous members of the Georgia General Assembly, if you would stand. Members of the Georgia General Assembly, please stand. Gwinnett County Chairman Charlotte Nash and the Gwinnett County Commission, Lawrenceville Mayor Judy Jordan Johnson and members of the Lawrenceville City Council, Mayor Mason and Mayor Pro Tem Brandon Hembry, GGC Foundation Board of Trustees Chair Tommy Hughes, Chair of the School of Business Board of Visitors Henry Harden, and GGC Alumni Board Chair Chad Miller, and GGC's Charter President and current President and CEO of the Gwinnett Chamber of Commerce, Dr. Daniel Kaufman. As another group, I'd ask that the following please stand, as well as distinguished members of the GGC Board of Trustees, the Foundation Board of Trustees. Members, if you would stand, please. Board of Trustee Foundation members. Alumni Board. The Alumni Board members, please. And the School of Business Board of Visitors. School of Business Board of Visitors. Thank you. As we begin our celebration, we also want to recognize the generosity of our sponsors who made this evening possible. Please, again, hold your applause until all are recognized. Joining as sponsors from the GGC Foundation Board of Trustees, Anderson, Tate & Carr, Brand Bank, the Gerard Group, 12 Stone Church, Gwinnett Medical Center, Mrs. Deborah Smithart Oglesby, and Mr. Charles Oglesby. Please join me in thanking them. And joining us as sponsors from our community are Micro Moretics, Peach State Federal Credit Union, Georgia Power Company, Life Care Center of Lawrenceville, PNC Bank, STG Marketing, Technical Innovation, and Wells Fargo. Please join me in thanking them as well for making this possible. Next, I have a very special greeting to share with you from Governor Nathan Deal, State of Georgia. He cannot be with us this evening, but wanted us to share with you his thoughts about tonight's celebration. And he writes, "Greetings. I'm pleased to extend my warmest regards to Georgia Gwinnett College as you celebrate your 10th anniversary. On behalf of the state of Georgia, it is a pleasure to be part of this milestone celebration. Please allow me to welcome your students, faculty, staff, and other attendees. Georgia Gwinnett College plays an important role in the well-being of our state through its dedication to educating our youth. Students are our next generation of leaders, and it is imperative that we afford them every opportunity to succeed. Over the past decade, Georgia Gwinnett College has demonstrated a strong commitment to this effort, and I am grateful to have this institution making such a positive impact on our state. To the students, alumni, faculty, and staff who have contributed to this school's success, I hope you take great personal pride in all that you have accomplished. I believe we are a stronger state because of your committed efforts. I commend Georgia Gwinnett College for organizing this event, and I send my best wishes for an enjoyable celebration. I look forward to the continued success of this fine institution. Sincerely, Nathan Deal." As the governor's letter, our sponsorships, and your presence here illustrate tonight, colleges are typically tightly woven into the very fabric of our communities. For GGC, this is especially so. From its beginning as a dream of local civic and business leaders, GGC has enjoyed a close relationship with Gwinnett County and its surrounding region. In honor of those ties, I invite Charlotte Nash, Chair of the Gwinnett County Board of Commissioners, to bring greetings on behalf of the county.
Thank you, Dr. Prochesky. I got close, didn't I? That's hard for a Southern accent to get around. Thank you so much, and good evening to you, to Provost Richardson, and to Foundation Chair Tommy Hughes, our host for this special celebration. To all of the honored guests here tonight, I want to, on behalf of the Gwinnett County Board of Commissioners, welcome you to this very historic and grand occasion. Chancellor Huckabee, I want to issue a special welcome to you. All those years ago, I won't even say how many, when we had grad class together, would you have visualized being at an occasion like this together? Thank you for your leadership with the university system of the state of Georgia. GGC is special to me for so many reasons, not the least of which I've been privileged to witness, to be a close observer of its conception and its birth. I remember very well an executive session in 1993 that Chairman Wayne Hill left to take a phone call from Virgil Williams, who was serving as Chief of Staff for Governor Zell Miller at that time. He came back in a few minutes, announced that he had been told that if we really wanted to move the dream of a four-year university in Gwinnett County forward, the county just needed to come up with a site for it, a suitable site. Before that executive session ended, in fact, immediately after Chairman Hill returned to the executive session, he and the other 4 district commissioners voted to seek and acquire a suitable site for this wonderful facility. 2 of the other commissioners that were involved in that vote are here tonight besides Chairman Hill. Chairman Hill is here, but we also had Renee Unterman on the board at that time, and of course GGC Foundation Board Chair Tommy Hughes. Other members were Judy Waters and Doug Williamson at that time, I believe. But no grass grew under their feet to make sure that that purchase happened. We actually closed on that piece of property in 1994. And then the site was transferred to the university system in order to demonstrate that this community not only talked about needing a 4-year college, but were willing to invest our dollars in making sure that it would happen. That was more than 2 decades ago, and I have to admit, we knew it would be well received, that there was a huge demand for a 4-year college here, but I could not have imagined how things have exploded on this campus. It's also now impossible to imagine Gwinnett County without Georgia Gwinnett College. The college means so much to our county's continued growth. It's part of our economic drive. Here, it strengthens our economic position. It generates huge dollars and lots of jobs, including 1,000 here at the campus and more than 2,300 in the community. And that's only the beginning. Thank you for everything that each one of you here in the room have done to make sure that this dream came true. And thank you for what you're going to do to ensure that the dream continues to get bigger and that it's carried through to things that we can't even imagine now. Thank you for letting me be part of it tonight.
Thank you, Chairman Nash. We appreciate the continued partnership that we receive from the county. Chancellor Hank Huckabee is the University System of Georgia's 12th chancellor. He oversees 30 public colleges and universities and a $7.7 billion annual budget, more than 45,000 faculty and staff fulfilling the teaching, research, and public service mission for over 313,000 students. And he occasionally sleeps. He has led the system flawlessly through one of the roughest economic periods the state has ever experienced. Most importantly, he's been a true friend and supporter of GGC from his very first day, making the resources available to sustain our success. Please join me in welcoming Chancellor Hank Huckabee, University System of Georgia.
Well, thank you very much. What a great evening this is. I was around in those days in the 90s and a little later, and a lot of people talked about a college being here. A lot of people didn't give much credit to that talk. We don't build new schools these days. In fact, we're consolidating schools. But the people of this community, so many of you in this room, had a dream, had a vision. You understood the impact, the positive impact the system of School of Higher Education can make on this community and on its citizens. And you persevered. 1993 to today was 23 years. But you stayed the course, and we stand here tonight because of that. Equally important, those of you who had the dream and those who were leading the university system at that time hired the right man to not only extend the dream, implement the dream. Dan Kaufman was a great leader. His leadership made this place happen. One reason that Dan Kaufman is a great leader, he understands the importance of having great staff and faculty with him. And he did that. I think the staff today, what's going on here today will always be a testimony to his leadership, to his vision. You know, the policy or the philosophy of Georgia Gwinnett is unique in the system. The screen through which all of us in my office pass every decision that comes to us from each institution and from presidents especially is, does this or will this help students? Because we are about students. We're not necessarily about buildings or persons. Buildings are necessary, but we're about students. There's no school in our system that exemplifies that goal better than Georgia Gwinnett. It's an exciting place to come. It's an exciting place to come. We're on a great path. We know where we're going. And with our commitment, the legislature's commitment especially, we'll get there. I'll end with this. The university system is very proud that we have a school like Georgia Gwinnett amongst our institutions. I became chancellor within 2 months. We announced that we were going to do a genuine, objective space utilization study. We had done space utilization studies before, but they were always done by the institution itself. So you can imagine what the results were. But this time, we was an outside consultant did the study. And there was a range from 25% utilization to 75%. 75% is about as good as you get. And you can imagine which school that was. Georgia Gwinnett College is a great steward of the resources that the state has provided to them and utilizes them more effectively, more efficiently than any school in our system. So I'm very privileged to stand here tonight and bring greetings to you on behalf of the Board of Regents. And I hope in the next few years we'll be coming back a lot because this school continues to make a tremendous impact on this community and on this state. And who knows where it will be in another 10 years. Thank you and good evening.
Thank you, Chancellor. Much is said about the unique leadership and strategic planning that has gone on to synchronize GGC's staffing and facility development with its explosive enrollment. Surely no other college in the history of our nation has ever grown from a kudzu patch into a full-service campus now serving 12,000 students, and did so in less than 10 years. This was no easy task, as GGC's growth required significant funding during the very years our economy faced the most serious challenges since the Great Depression. Couldn't have picked the worst time to start a college. We owe a debt of gratitude to you, Chancellor, the University System of Georgia, the Board of Regents, and all of our elected officials, both past and present, who have made state funds and unique policies available to grow GGC to what it is today. They believed this college was vital to the future of Gwinnett and to this region, and they provided the vision, the leadership, and the support needed to ensure its success. Indeed, our success is yours. Over the years, there were many, many people who worked long and hard to get GGC started. You came together and you made your dream a reality, even when the odds were sometimes against you. Then in 2005, the stars aligned and everything was in the right place at the right time. One man who campaigned on getting a college built in Gwinnett County is with us tonight. He's an individual whose advocacy for this college puts him in a category all of his own. He served the Gwinnett County community as a state senator from District 9 in 1993 until 2015, is recognized as the longest-serving Republican in the Georgia Senate. In 2005, he authored Senate Resolution 33 to create the college. It was filed on January 24th, passed by the Senate on February 8th, and by the House on March 15th. It was signed by former Governor Sonny Perdue on May 10th. That original resolution was displayed in the front lobby area during tonight's reception and is on permanent display in the library next door. It will forever remain a cherished historical artifact in the college's archives. After that, Senator Balfour continued to enthusiastically and persuasively advocate for GGC, ensuring that we had the funding necessary to grow the college to the size it is today. He was instrumental in securing hundreds of millions of dollars for GGC during the early years. Without his efforts, our campus would be sorely lacking in so many areas. So tonight, in honor and in deepest gratitude to his leadership and unwavering determination, Senator Don Balfour is going to share with you the story of when the Senate passed the resolution. And then he will lead us all in a toast. Senator Balfour.
I have a story to tell you. It's hard to believe, but it's actually true. And it really starts, we're celebrating a 10th year anniversary, but this started over 25 years ago. The Gwinnett County Chamber of Commerce was looking at this 25 years ago or more. Glenn White was the head of the chamber at that point in time, and I remember them looking at this very issue. Gwinnett County was the largest populated county east of the Mississippi without a four-year college. I can still go say that. We went from there. In 1992, a freshman state senator was elected to the state senate. Tom Daniels is here tonight, and he was a lobbyist for the state of Georgia university system at the time. And he tells a story. I think it's true too. When he first met me, the first thing I said to him, I basically accosted him and said, when am I going to get my four-year university in Gwinnett County? He was taken back a little bit by my bluntness, but I'm kind of known for that. Virgil Williams was mentioned earlier, that he and Glenn and others in the Chamber of Commerce was very actively involved in getting this done and encouraging the county commissioners, which already been mentioned, but I'll mention again, Wayne Hill and the magnificent work he did as chairman, Judy Waters, Tommy Hughes, Renee Underman, Doug Williamson. All those folks needed a vision because they were stepping out, doing something that was going to cost millions of dollars with no guarantee that this would happen today. What they did turned Georgia Gwinnett College from a dream to now a possibility. At the time in the state of Georgia, Gwinnett County was heavily Republican. The problem was the state wasn't. And the whole legislature, the governor, were all Democrats. And then you had people like Jimmy and Wayne Mason, Virgil Williams, John D. Stevens here tonight, all working on Governor Zell Miller, all working on Governor Roy Barnes over a period of time to get this done, to get this, and it was no easy feat. First four-year college established in the state of Georgia in the last 100 years. Shortly after all that happened, Glenn White was appointed to the Board of Regents. And then policymakers in Gwinnett County and elected officials started their pushing for Georgia Gwinnett College. In February 2005, I was honored to introduce the resolution to establish a four-year college in Gwinnett County. Someone told me I ought to tell this, and I thought I wouldn't, but then I saw Preston Smith here tonight, who's a senator from North Georgia. He, for a number of years, had been trying to pass a bill in the state of Georgia. He had fifth graders that decided that the green tree frog ought to be the state amphibian. It's true. The first year, I didn't let the bill come to the floor of the Senate because I thought it was kind of a stupid thing, and it is. Second year, I let him have his vote, but I went to the well of the Senate to present this resolution, and the lieutenant governor at the time made the next comment, which is, read the amendment. Nobody amends my bills. I was looking out trying to figure out which one of these 55 guys am I going to kneecap later on today. Preston introduced the bill, an amendment to the bill naming the school Balfour University and naming the green tree frog as the official mascot. It's true. I got back to my seat afterwards and said, I know that's a joke, but take that back. We don't want to be there. After a long process of picking or choosing or going through the people who applied for this unnamed university and the unnamed school in Lawrenceville, Georgia, the search committee appointed Dan Kaufman. I refer to him as the general. The committee could not have done a more magnificent job. We didn't know at the time, but we have this brigadier general from West Point who'd been the academic dean at West Point, and I'd go meet with him, and he'd have this list of the 10 things they needed. Hank, it wasn't my fault. And I'd say, General, if I can get one, usually universities get one every 3 or 4 years. I never got him to buy into that. And he goes, no, I priority, I need all 10 of them. I said, well, I only can get you one. Maybe I can get you one. And we went through the process of doing that and getting some of the things that are done here. It's easy to talk about the brick and mortar because you see that. But the brick and mortar is, you needed the brick and mortar maybe to get the students, but the brick and mortar is immaterial. The lives that are affected here, the lives that these teachers and professors are affecting in our school system is absolutely magnificent. For the next year after Dan was chosen, the faculty and staff worked very hard on getting ready for opening the school in like 9 months. In August of 2006, GGC opened their doors with an enrollment of 118 students. While the number wasn't staggering, it was the beginning. The next year, 750. The next year, 1,500. The next year, 3,000. Doubling in size every year, which was an issue all in of itself on how do you fund that. In June of 2009, GGC became the fastest accredited school in the history of the United States. Under the leadership of President Kaufman and his chief of staff, Stas Petruski, and department heads, the leadership began working on accreditation. Now, if I ask a simple question, realizing that you can't be accredited until you graduate your first student in a 4-year school, you have to apply for accreditation after 4 years. Even a House member can get that. Sorry. That's just a House Senate joke. But General Kaufman had a different idea. He was thinking outside the box. Let's bring juniors in, and if we can bring juniors in, we can graduate students in 2 years. In the meantime, we have these deans of schools, we have these professors, and there's only 118 students. Well, they could spend time working on accreditation. And so You know, we graduate the first students in 2 years and hand in the accreditation, all the stuff almost at the same time. And literally in under 3 years now, we become accredited. The fastest accredited school in the history of the United States, which tells you something about the leadership. With the assistance of the General Assembly, Richard Tucker, who at this point is on the Board of Regents, Sonny Perdue's leadership at this point, which Hank was at that point working for the governor in his office, GGC was able to begin growing. And yes, they had a champion in the Georgia General Assembly. GGC had a voice that was able to negotiate for additional buildings and classrooms, which enabled student enrollment to increase. However, the growth in this school comes from what's being taught inside those classrooms. It is led by a strong president, department heads, and hardworking, passionate professors and advisors. In June of 2014, Stas Bertusky becomes the second president of GGC. He was, in fact, I told Hank back at the time, I said, I don't get involved with what you do, but I'm telling you, there's no better person for this. He had taken a sabbatical for a year to help be the acting president of another school in the Georgia system, so he had a presidency experience under his belt. He was here from almost day one and knew the school inside and out. He was the perfect candidate to lead us into the future. The first 4-year public institution accredited in the state of Georgia in over 100 years. A college of distinction. The 5th highest ranked Southern Public Regional College, twice recognized as friendly to the military. General, friendly to the military? Absolutely. Those of you who know my passions know my passion for GGC. I'll come here some days when I'm not feeling par, and I'll just walk around the campus, see what's going on. I also have a passion for the military. I have a son sitting over there tonight who served with some other folks and had a number of tours of duty in Afghanistan, so I also have a passion for the military. And so it's interesting that 2 of my main passions are both connected at GGC. Today, GGC has one of the best retention rates in the whole university system. It has one of the lowest tuition rates in the university system. Hank already mentioned how the utilization of the school is one of the highest in the university system. GGC is better than anyone could have ever dreamed. All those people mentioned and numerous others are reasons GGC boasts record retention, record accreditation, and the lowest costs in the university system of Georgia. Thomas Jefferson left very specific instructions to what would be written on his tombstone. The first one's easy. Author of the Declaration of Independence. That would be my first pick for him. One that's not on there that's very interesting that it's not is he didn't put down as one of his 3 big things President of the United States. I would have thought he would have put President of the United States. He didn't put that down. But he did put down Father of the University of Virginia. Georgia Gwinnett College is lucky to have many hardworking and caring fathers and mothers who could all put on their tombstone 100 years from now that they had a part in starting this fantastic institution that has affected so many already in the last 10 years. Imagine what it's going to do in the next 20 and 30 years. If we couldn't dream of where it is today, I have a hard time dreaming of where it's going to be in 10 or 20 years. So let me make a toast. To the leaders who helped GGC get to where it is today, and to the leaders who will continue to advance GGC in the future.
As I think about what Don just said, I'm amazed that you only got a list of 10 things that Dan Kaufman wanted. I'd give anything for a list of only 10 things that Dan Kaufman wanted. He also talked very much about the start of the college and how critical it is. But once again, if you please just indulge me, with the current Gwinnett County delegation, senators and representatives, please stand again, please stand and be recognized, because you're keeping the dream alive. And one more special guest tonight. Don spent some time talking about the accreditation, and that came from the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools Commission on Colleges. With us tonight is Ann Sharb. Ann, where are you? Ann, if you would stand. Ann. I saw Ann earlier tonight, and she reminded me how she thought Dan and I were absolutely crazy to think that this can happen. But it was her guidance and her wisdom and her patience with us that allowed us to accomplish accreditation in record time. And Ann, for that, we and all of our students and faculty and staff are in your debt. So thank you, Ann, for everything you did for us. Okay, almost to the food. Tonight's Pledge of Allegiance and invocation will be given by a person who is not only a key leader of our local community, but a fixture on this campus. She is a Grizzly and well known to all of our students, as she does every single orientation for new students, every orientation for new faculty, all the orientations for new staff, and all of the orientation for parents. And that's our own mayor, Lawrenceville Mayor Judy Jordan Johnson. She interacts with the campus community on a regular basis and serves as a math tutor on campus, doing her part to help our students find success. She even helps students move in to the residence halls this summer. Our mayor personally addresses thousands of students each time and makes all the difference in doing so and making them feel welcome and part of the Lawrenceville community. As mayor, she has proactively partnered with the college and shares a common vision with us for the future in which she plays a central role. Please welcome Mayor Judy for our invocation and our Pledge of Allegiance.
Please stand for the invocation and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. As I offer this Christian prayer, pray with me as you will. We thank you for the celebration tonight of 10 years of the founding of Georgia Gwinnett College. We are grateful for the vision that was given to the founders of this institution and for the cooperation of the state and the county and the city leaders in making this vision a reality. Through this vision, our community has been blessed with excellent administrators, outstanding professors, and more importantly, talented students. We thank you that the students in this community have the opportunity to further their education, and we ask continued blessings upon the administration and the staff and the faculty that play a role in their success. As we renew friendships around the table, let us not forget the men and women of our military, our law enforcement, that are protecting us both home and abroad. And we ask your protection over them. We also ask that you bless the hands that have prepared this food and this food to the nourishment of our bodies so that we may serve others in an honorable way. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated.
While you dine, please enjoy the live music by flamenco guitarist Witold Tolajecki and a performance by Dee Westry, the world's fastest master speed painter, who will create 2 original works of arts in honor of GGC's 10th anniversary. Also, listen up for a second. Please check the back of your program at this time for a green or a silver star. The star identifies the winners of the commemorative bottles of wine on your table. A green star identifies the winner of the red wine. The silver star identifies the winner of the white wine. Please don't make your own stars. Please take these home with our compliments. We'll continue our program after the meal. Okay. If I can get you to take your seats again. Please, if I could just have your attention for a moment. First, please continue to enjoy your dessert as we continue with the program for the next few minutes. First, I'd like to say thank you and ask for a round of applause for our musician tonight, Witold Tolajecki. Witold, thank you. And our artist who donated those works back to the college. So at a future date, expect an auction. Dee Westry. Westry. I'm sure we will have you back. Thank you. As we reflect on the significance of what the 10th anniversary represents, try that again. As we reflect on the significance of what this 10th anniversary represents, we want to celebrate and honor our journey together. How did GGC get to this point? What does GGC mean to this community? And more importantly, what will GGC mean to our collective future? And so as you continue to enjoy your dessert and coffee, let us take you on a short journey of Georgia Gwinnett College, past, present, and future. Representing the past is Glenn White, the charter president of the GGC Foundation, a former chair of the USG Board of Regents, and a noted leader within the Atlanta community. He served as president of United Community Bank for the Atlanta region, and has served as chair of the Gwinnett Chamber of Commerce, president of the Council for Quality Growth, and a board member for many other fine organizations. His selfless service, leadership, and generosity are widely known throughout the state. This is a man who knows how to bring together leaders from all segments of the community to get things done. And of course, that includes GGC. Glenn?
Good evening. It's great seeing a good crowd here on our 10th anniversary. Some of you may know that when Dan Kaufman asked me to serve as the Foundation's charter chair in 2005, it only took me a few minutes to say yes. You see, I've been committed to getting to college in Gwinnett County for over 25 years. It may be hard to believe, but conversation about obtaining a college first began in the mid-1970s. We knew Gwinnett County's population was going to grow, and growth meant we needed a college. We started working with the governor, the legislature, and the Board of Regents to bring a college to Gwinnett County. As you know, it didn't happen very quickly. We were successful to get Gwinnett Tech established in 1970, actually 74 was when it was approved, opened in 76, and we were grateful to have the technical school, but we still wanted a college. Then explosive growth occurred in the late 80s and 90s. We couldn't build houses fast enough, and for several consecutive years, if you remember, Gwinnett was the fastest growing county in the nation. We were the largest county east of the Mississippi without a four-year college to serve its citizens, as Don Balfour pointed out earlier. In 1993, I was chairman of the Gwinnett Chamber. Wayne Mason and I went to see the then governor, Zell Miller. We obviously needed his support to begin conversations with the University System of Georgia. Wayne, if you remember correctly, we met with Zell up at the Chateau Elan, and the first 2 or 3 minutes didn't go too well. He quickly, you know, Zell is a pretty opinionated guy, if any of y'all remember Zell and some of his politics in the past. And so he started berating me in the first 5 minutes, and so I kind of slid it off and let Wayne handle it from that point on. And about 20 minutes later, he came back to me and said, yeah, we think we can get something done. I don't know what, Wayne, you said to him, but thank you is all I can say. So Zell all of a sudden was all for it. In fact, he sent out the then Chancellor Stephen Porsche to Gwinnett County, and then Wayne Hill and myself took, if you remember Wayne, we took Stephen Porsche on a helicopter tour of Gwinnett County and the property that you're currently sitting on, because the Gwinnett County Commissioners had already committed and agreed to purchase this property to donate for the purposes of a college to the University System of Georgia. So Wayne did a great job in this tour. He obviously originally is from Gwinnett County. He knew everything about it. And Stephen was very impressed, but I also had to say that Stephen was a little bit nervous because it's the first time he'd ever been on a helicopter. So it was a little scary experience for him, and I think that helped make his memory even better. The Board of Regents had already experimented by establishing the Gwinnett University System. It originally was over on Sugarloaf Boulevard. It was a satellite campus for several institutions. And again, it was a start, but it was not good enough for what we wanted. We wanted our own standalone college here in this county. When Zell Miller put me on the Board of Regents in 1997, I knew time was right to pursue the idea further. It took several years, but in 2004, the Board of Regents voted to establish a 4-year college in Gwinnett County. Obviously, we were ecstatic at that point in time. As you've already heard this evening, several months later, the governor's signature officially established Georgia's first 4-year public college in more than 100 years. A few months after that, it was named the Georgia Gwinnett College. Since then, the Georgia General Assembly, as Don Balfour was talking about earlier, has appropriated over $85 million in special funding initiatives and about the same amount in capital projects to build this campus. And of course, your support of the GGC Foundation has accrued another $180 million for this cause, much of which supported all the construction projects because building the campus infrastructure was our #1 priority. Every dollar was needed and every dollar was well spent because this college is an investment in the future of Gwinnett County and the state of Georgia. I look around the room tonight and I see so many familiar faces who have been involved along the way, some even as long as I have. There are others who couldn't be here tonight. And of course, we must remember the contributions of those folks, and one of whom I must mention is Wayne Schaffer, who is no longer with us. I also must mention John D. Stevens, who succeeded me as chairman of the GGC Foundation. We're especially grateful to John D. for his generosity and the significant support and leadership he's provided to this college. Folks, we've done something absolutely extraordinary. The past 10 years has been exhilarating, it's been challenging, and successful beyond what any of us could have ever imagined 20 years ago. None of us have ever built a college, but we knew how to work together. That was the bottom line. We also were fortunate to get the right man at the helm, Dan Kaufman. And if he was scared, we never knew it. He led this outstanding team with infectious enthusiasm and confident leadership. The rest of us just worked to make sure he and his team had the resources to get the job done, and we watched our dream, hopefully your dream too, become a reality that it is today. This land, a gift by the Gwinnett County taxpayers and the Gwinnett County Commissioners, purchased 2 decades ago, has become a thriving institution of higher learning where thousands of lives are improved every single day. Remember this, if there's one thing I want you to go out of this room with tonight, remember this. With each degree that's awarded, a life is changed. And when that degree is awarded to a first-generation student, an entire family is transformed. This creates a ripple effect of generations to come. It's very rare for a community to come together to create anything that matches the magnitude of this facility, this college. The results of our collective efforts will be felt long after we're gone, but we are transforming this community each and every day, and hope you see this as part of your lasting legacy as I do. And as Don Balfour pointed out early, hopefully we'll put it on our tombstones as we go down the road. But enough of the past. Let's talk about the present a little bit. And I want to bring Tommy Hughes up to do that. Tommy has served as the GGC Foundation Chair for nearly 3 years. He is a Gwinnett County native with a long history of service to the community, including past service as a Beaufort City Commissioner, a Gwinnett County Commissioner, and Chairman of the Board of the Beaufort City Schools, a member of the Blue Ribbon Committee that worked closely with the Board of Regents to help establish this college. He also serves on the boards of the Gwinnett Center, Gwinnett Convention and Visitors Bureau. Tommy has a deep love for this county and has been a strong champion for this college ever since the very beginning when he was on the Board of Commissioners. Please welcome GGC Foundation Chair Tommy Hughes.
Thank you. Thank you, Glenn. 10 years, where'd it go? I think there's a song somewhere out there that has that verse in it. Dan Kaufman came into Gwinnett County and never slowed down, and sometimes we had to put a harness on him to try to collar him up, but look what we've done. And everybody in this room here tonight deserves a pat on the back. There's not one person can take credit for what's happened here. I'm just honored that people associate my name with this place, and it's the proudest thing. It's some of the proudest moments of my life, and people ask me about what your proudest achievements are. It definitely would be the college and the arena, but let me tell you a quick story about how I got this job I've got tonight that they tell me such an honor. Is John D. came in one day and says, I think I'm going to quit. And my business is, I'm too busy to do that job. And Dan Kaufman calls me about 2 months later and he says, well, I think you might ought to try that job. And then I agree to do it. And then 2 months later he comes back in and he said, I think I'm going to take a new job. And I was scared to death. And so, but I'm not going to go back and rehash the history. We've all said, and we all know what the pride is, and we know we got to keep forward. Hank Huckabee left. He had to go to a prior commitment. He left a little bit early a minute ago, and I told him, I said, don't never get tired. We don't mind getting told no, but we're going to ask all the time and often. And we're not shy about what we want to do, and we're not shy about a goal. And Dan Kaufman gave us a great goal, and if ever was a place that met a perfect match, Dan being our initial leader, it's been unbelievable. And I never dreamed we'd be sitting here tonight with what we got. They want to talk about our buildings, they want to talk about our land, they want to talk about all this. But I've sat through 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 graduations now, and you see these kids. You know, I remember a day where the featured speaker was a young man, and he reaches under the podium and pulls out 2 Emmy Awards. His mom and daddy's in the audience crying. And that's what this is about. And thank y'all so much for letting us do it. And I'm going to go off script a little bit. I told Stosh I was going to keep it short. I want Stosh to come up here with me a minute. As I told y'all, and I'm going to turn the program over to him. As I told y'all, I was scared to death when I thought him and John D. had actually conspired against me, given my Beaufort background, that I thought there had to be something going on here. And never, Stosh calls me up, me and him meet for the first time, and he's been associated with the college. I knew him, but I didn't have a personal relationship with him or of any kind. And I went in there that day, and like I normally am, I'm very blunt. And I said, Stosh, you be honest with me, and I'll be honest with you. And we couldn't have got a better leader to do today than we've got with this man right here. And from the bottom of my heart, I mean that. And he has done a tremendous job, and I respect this man. When he tells me something, I know it's the truth, and I know he believes it in his heart, and that's what it takes to make something happen. And I'm going to end it there and say thank you.
Amazing what writing him a check will do. With us tonight, he referred to a student who gave a talk at commencement a couple of years ago who had 2 Emmy Awards. He's with us. Homero Gonzalez is with us tonight. Homero, if you'd stand. In case you don't know, 2 was only his beginning. He now owns 8 Emmy Awards. And on top of that, he got married a few weeks ago to a GGC student, so he married up. And so he's a newlywed, 8 Emmy Awards, and I don't know how it gets any better than that. So thank you for being here with us this evening. So I have to publicly thank Tommy, Glenn, John D. for their exceptional leadership, their friendship, and the resource support, and most importantly, their mentorship. Without the GGC Foundation and its trustees, there would be no GGC. The work of the foundation and its members can be found through every aspect of this grand campus. Before I continue, though, I'd like to take the opportunity to thank 2 special groups of people whose hard work behind the scenes has made this event tonight possible. And if I can get the house lights up, please, house lights up. Our partners from Aramark, and I need Aramark to start filtering on in. Our partners from Aramark have provided this is sort of like being on a cruise, I know. Our partners with Aramark have provided tonight's dinner service and an incredible meal under the leadership of Chef Doug Alexander, hostess Cheryl Ogilby, and Senior Aramark Supervisor Justin Solomon. Let's give them and the entire wait staff and serving team a round of applause, please. They're great partners, and we really do appreciate what you did for us this evening. And all during the day, they also served barbecue outdoors to some 10,000 students out on the quad. So they've had a busy day. They've been up. So thanks for all you've done. I'd also like to recognize those individuals who participated in the planning and implementation of today's events, from this morning's convocation, where we unveiled Dr. Kaufman's official presidential portrait and the college's first ceremonial mace, to this afternoon's groundbreaking of Building C. So the crane is on the campus now for 9 straight years, and culminating in this, our very first ever Founders Celebration, and we'll gather back together in 15 years for the 25th. This celebration effort was led by Vice President Renee Byrd-Lewis. Literally every agency or division on this campus provided substantial support to bring this day to fruition. Would all of those responsible individuals who are in attendance tonight please stand and be recognized for your service in bringing this night together. I truly wish we had the time to honor each person individually tonight, and to let you all have a turn at the podium to tell your stories about GGC and to share your thoughts on this occasion. Ordinarily, colleges can point to a single or a short list of visionary leaders or founders connected with the institution's beginning. But then again, GGC is unique in this area. What would you consider to be GGC's beginning? The start of the dream 40 years ago? The date the Senate passed Resolution 33? The day Governor Perdue's signature officially created the, quote, unnamed college, close quote. Perhaps the day unnamed college hired its first employee, or even the date it was given its name? Or is it the day our first students arrived? And how on earth do we create a list of founders when so many people across Gwinnett County and the region, and within the USG Board of Regents, and among our state elected officials, all work together? That's Gwinnett County. All work together to make this happen. The founding of this college was a community effort in every respect. And so we chose to gather here tonight as a community to share in this remarkable look at the college you helped create, as an innovative model that can reinvent higher education by challenging convention and doing what works, not doing what the book says. Where student mentorship and engagement ensure that each student has the opportunity to succeed and to thrive. Where we can make the dream of higher education and a brighter future possible for students who may not find success elsewhere. Our speakers this evening have done an outstanding job framing the significance of the achievements that we all share. But the work is not over. We must continue working hard to sustain our success and even increase the momentum that you helped us establish. But the real result of our effort is not measured in the awards we receive or the records that we break, but rather, as you all well know, is found in the students themselves. And so if you'll indulge me, I'd like to put a face on the future through the lens of our students. Students like, please bring the house lights up. Students like Santessa Young, a political science major who's the first generation of her family to go to college. Santessa represents 42% of our enrollment, or 5,000 of our students who are first-generation students. These students are paving the way and creating a brighter future for themselves and their families. And were it not for GGC's affordability, it costs less than $6,000 a year tuition and fees to attend here. Convenience and access mission, many of these students would not be in college today. And speaking of our access mission, Melly Asiano left center. Where are you? Melly, please stand. A political science major. Ms. Isiano is doing exceptionally well as a political science major and is on the dean's list because of our student success programs. We make college possible for thousands of students who just need a little extra help to succeed. We meet our students where they are, and we provide them the tools that allow them to reach their fullest potential. Almost half of our freshmen take at least one student success remedial course to bring their performance up in the areas of college math, English, or reading. And half of our entire student body takes advantage of our tutoring services. Our overall retention rate of nearly 70% already makes GGC a strong contributor to the Governor's Complete College Georgia initiative and the Gates Foundation Complete College America initiative. And it's a standout among state access institutions. Our advising center proactively targets students at the highest risk of dropping out. And since that has come to become fruition through a wonderful grant that was provided to us, we've retained these students out an astounding 87%. And thank you to the Shoemates for making that possible. And why is retention important? Because going to college does very little for the student or for the community. Graduating from college is what makes the difference in income, in employability, and in raising their standard of living. And that requires a commitment to retaining students. You can't graduate a student you haven't retained. So it's not about going to college. And I ask that of all the parents and students and all of you in the room. Don't ask a student where they're planning on going to college. That doesn't matter. Ask them where they're planning on graduating from a college. That's what matters. And with America right now sitting at 51% graduation rate across all of America, please continue to stress graduating from college. Student support, mentorship, and engagement are critical to retention, and that is why they are our core mission and vision, and why we do college differently here. And it works. Seth Elam, Seth, where are you? Seth, is considered a non-traditional student because he's a bit older. He's a bit older than a typical college student. He and about 4,000 of his fellow Grizzlies, a third of our student body, have entered college at a later stage in their life, or have come back to finish a degree or to earn a new degree. In Seth's case, he worked for several years in the renewable energy sector and is now pursuing his passion in our nursing program. Seth? As you know, the cost of college education is a national concern. GGC has been recognized by U.S. News and World Report as having the lowest in-state tuition and fees of the ranked Georgia public colleges. This is important because 94% of our students qualify for federal financial aid. That includes Shay Bradley. Shay, a criminal justice major, is like dozens of other students. Shay, a criminal justice major, is like dozens of other students who qualify for federal financial aid job that has been created on campus. She works as a student assistant in the Office of Development to help pay for her education. Foundation scholarships help to defray the cost of education. Again, coming from the foundation, coming from you as well. Cedric Mukene, a biology major who plans to go to medical school and study infectious disease, he is the recipient of the Eldridge W. McMillan Regents Scholarship, one of several endowed scholarship funds established through the GGC Foundation. Many of our students require financial assistance, and because GGC is new, We appreciate your continued support in growing these critical scholarship funds. Kareem Adekunle is an international student, a business major. Adekunle is a business major and a citizen of Nigeria. Kareem is from one of more than 100 nations that represent our student body. These are students who hold citizenship. 108 different countries are represented, have citizens here in our campus. We also have students from more than half of the United States. 32 states are represented. This kind of national, international diversity so early in GGC's existence is remarkable and unparalleled, and representative of the very international community that is Gwinnett County. Lorenzo Sanchez Rubio is a major in business. There you go, in the back. Is majoring in business with a concentration in management information. Lorena is one of 1,700 Hispanic students, now representing 16% of our student body, who's pursuing a degree at GGC. This is a rapidly expanding ethnic group in the nation, in our state, and in Gwinnett and at USG. Hispanics comprise now, again, 16% of our student body and rising. U.S. News and World Report ranked GGC as in 2015 and just last week in 2016 as the single most ethnically diverse college, public or private, in the South. We are proud of the We are proud to reflect the rich diversity of Gwinnett County and the surrounding region. Many of our students exemplify our four pillars of leadership, scholarship, creativity, and service. Finance major Jonathan Charles. Jonathan is representative of leadership. His leadership is shown in his service as president of the Greenlight Activities Board, the Student Government Association's director of Greenlight Relations, and a marketing consultant for Gwinnett's Relay for Life, giving back to the community. He's also a charter member of the Honors Program. Hannah Cooper, a pre-nursing major inspired by the Hannah is a pre-nursing major inspired by the loss of her father to cancer. She represents scholarship. Not only has she achieved enrollment in our highly selective nursing program, she maintains a 3.85 GPA, is a member of the GGC Honors Program, the National Society of Leadership and Success, and the Golden Key International Honor Society. Catherine Kopis represents creativity in, where are you, Catherine? She designs computer games and other products as a digital media major. She combines her IT skills with her interest in the arts and crafts by helping other artists with online marketing. She also volunteers as a mentor for middle and high school girls during the college's Women in Technology Super Saturday series here on campus, which is designed to encourage women to pursue careers in the STEM field, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And Aziz Sheikh, Aziz in the back. His name actually means honor, represents the pillar of service through his work with Relay for Life, Student Government Association, Student Integrity Board, Chair of the Greenlight Activities Board Film Committee. He also serves in the Golden Key International Honor Society, the National Society of Leadership and Success. He volunteers with the Auxiliary Civil Air Patrol and plans to serve our nation as a commissioned officer in the United States Air Force, although we'll take you in the Army, after he graduates with a degree in business. His commitment to service represents the several hundred students who are either current or former members of the military who are enrolled in our ever-growing U.S. Army ROTC program on campus. As previously mentioned, GGC has been twice recognized by two different military advocacy groups as friendly to the military, and just debuted just this past week in the U.S. News and World Report's new ranking as the best college for veterans at number 40 in the region. Finally, there is Grizzly spirit, which we define as a willingness to face challenges. Despite our youth as an institution, our students have been whooping it up on the nation's oldest, largest, and most prestigious colleges and universities in both athletic and academic competitions. The Grizzlies have arrived. From our club sports and intercollegiate athletics to academic contests and individual achievements in competitive programs, GGC students have already earned, in under 10 years, only 9 years with the students, earned multiple national distinctions and have won national championships. In fact, our first national trophy was won in information technology competition. Representing that Grizzly spirit is Matthias Haytim. Matthias, a business major. Matthias is a business major, native of Argentina, and member of GGC men's tennis team. He was the first scholar athlete to join our tennis team, which defied the odds in their first year of national eligibility, who, along with our women's team, both won the national NAIA championship during our very first season, and followed that up on the men's side with an unprecedented second consecutive year winning the national title this past spring. Be sure to check. If you see him tonight, be sure to check out his new championship ring, which was awarded this past Tuesday. And our athletic director, Dr. Darren Wilson, also this year won for the second time as Athletic Director of the Year for the country. And so that's remarkable. Darren. What's really remarkable about the athletics program here is that the grade point average of the athletics teams, all of them, exceeds the grade point average of the average for the entire student body. So these are not athlete scholars, these are scholar athletes, and that's your leadership, and we appreciate that. So we're coming to a conclusion. I hope that you've been inspired by the students sitting at your tables tonight and have a chance to talk with them. I'd also like to recognize the members of our alumni board who are with us tonight. Alumni board, would you stand? We now have thousands of alumni. Because of your support, these individuals now hold bachelor's degrees and are pursuing careers in our community. You may have purchased the house with the assistance from Chad Miller, eating at one of Daryush Aziz restaurants, had creative design or photography work done by Brittany Sharp's agency, or watched one of the Telemundo news productions from Homero Gonzalez. I wish we had time to hear from each of these individuals. Hearing their stories and their voices would further demonstrate the difference that you have made in this community in the last 10 years. So we're going to wrap up here now by saying we have time for one more story that we truly believe represents the GGC mission and its vision. Please watch the screen.
When I was a child, I loved reading and learning, but my family moved around a lot, and we had trouble making ends meet. 2 of my uncles were murdered on my street. I attended 7 elementary schools, 3 middle schools, and 3 high schools. With so much instability, I stopped caring about education. But one day, I saw my mom cry because I would not graduate high school on time. She worked so hard and went without food and sleep so that I could have opportunities that she did not. So from then on, I made A's and B's, took extra classes, and even did work study. I graduated high school on time, and my mother smiled. Then she heard about this new college. We came to GGC for a tour, and I fell in love with this vision. I wanted to be a part of it. Of course, my GPA wasn't the best, but GGC gave me a chance. Things went well my first semester, and I had a 3.7 GPA, but I still felt out of place. The very day I planned to drop out, my English professor said something to me that touched my soul. She said, "Candace, this is for you. College was made for people like you who crave knowledge." I'd never had a teacher acknowledge my efforts and encourage me so much. Her words played over and over in my head as I walked from A building to the residence halls. Once I reached the library, I broke into tears and changed my course of thinking. I was going to be the first member in my family to graduate college.
From that point on, my life changed, and I sought every opportunity to make the most out of my college experience. I began to build leadership skills by serving in the Student Government Association as treasurer and as senator for the School of Science and Technology. I supported myself as a resident assistant and as a work study student in GGC's Office of Public Affairs. I have participated in many, many campus activities, and to my amazement, that someone with my background would have such an opportunity. I studied tropical biology in Costa Rica and service learning in Ecuador. I would not be the person I am today without my GGC family and the experience that I have gained here. My professors cared as if it was their degree that I was working towards. The staff and administration have always been my cheerleaders. The student body here, my fellow Grizzlies, they are the hardest working students in the South, and they continuously inspire me to be a better person and better and greater every day, and I have. While at GGC, a sense of self-motivation emerged within me. I was no longer doing this just to see my mother smile, although that's still on the top of my list. I began doing this for me and for my entire family. I now have 6 younger family members attending Georgia Gwinnett College because they were inspired by how I have evolved, and they wanted a piece of this. Since graduation in May, I have been traveling, working as a nanny for a family, and seeking short-term employment. Next spring, I will either be in Swaziland or Rwanda, beginning my 2-year service in the Peace Corps. Then after that, I plan to attend graduate school to later have a career in medical research. Leaving this college has been so bittersweet. I love this place. This is the longest place I've ever lived in my entire life. GGC is home. And now, instead of ending up at a dead-end job, the possibilities are endless, and I want to do them all. From the baby who almost died of pneumonia in the homeless shelter, to the woman who is living an abundant life and traveling across nations. The ceiling has been lifted off of my dreams. Because of Georgia Gwinnett College, and because of everything you have done to support GGC, there are no limits to me. Thank you, and God bless.
Okay. Wow. Okay, just go brief for a moment. Got our students coming? Students? Thank you, Candace, and please, let's give her one more round of applause. They are why we are all here tonight. They are why each of us comes to work each day and doesn't look at it as work. They are why you created this college. And they are why we all share this passion for GGC. For their success is the result of the collective efforts. Their success is the collective efforts as partners. Oh, trust me, they're each holding a letter, and we worried about what order they. We went through every permutation of what words they may come up with on their own. Okay. And they are our future. They are our community. They are our state. They are our nation. They are our world. Someone remarked to me earlier today that being hired as a teacher or a professor does not make you a teacher or a professor. You are only a teacher or a professor when there are students learning. And our students are learning. Gwinnett County is not your typical county, and GGC has never been your typical college. We were designed from the beginning to be different, to be a game changer, to challenge the conventions of higher education. And in only 10 years, we've done that successfully, and it's because of you. But as Tommy said, our work is not done, and we cannot rest on our laurels. And though there may be challenges ahead, we pledge to work hard to ensure that the GGC model becomes recognized as the best in class and as a truly transformative model of American higher education, and to fully realize the opportunity that GGC holds for the future of higher education in Gwinnett County, in Georgia, and beyond, and to fulfill the amazing dream, your amazing dream, that is Georgia Gwinnett College today. So on behalf of the entire GGC community, the students want to say, we thank you. We put an English professor in charge of this. And thank you. We say thank you on behalf of the students, the staff, and the faculty. Thank you on behalf of the foundation. Thank you on behalf of the University System of Georgia. And thank you for sharing tonight's celebration and for believing in us, Georgia Gwinnett College. We wish you a wonderful evening, a safe drive home, and God bless.